The Brooklyn Nets may have found the best way to use James Harden. Moving away from this, the Houston Rockets ISO style of play, where the ball would be in Harden's hands and he had free reign to do whatever he felt like, often ending in a step back three or a floater or a lob at the rim. To now this, which in my opinion, the Rockets should have done more of, which is get Harden to play off ball and run actions for him rather than strictly playing ISO ball. So, what is the difference between the Brooklyn Harden and the Rockets Harden? Firstly, it helps to surround yourself with two players like KD and Kyrie, who have both won championships and have both been franchise players, meaning they are able to take the load off of Harden, and they all have similar style of gameplay. And secondly, having a change in system and team play, as Steve Nash has taken the focus off of Harden and uses him as a secondary option in some ways, which allows him to get easier looks. The way Steve Nash has used Harden so far is to have him initiate the offense or place him off ball and use him as a screener.
Minutes to play. Nets have 9 field goals in the fourth quarter. Harden has 8 of them. Harden drives. They can't stop him.
Similar to how the Warriors use Steph Curry, so it's easier for him to get open. Especially if Harden is screening for Kyrie or KD, as depending on the matchups, could cause the defense problems. And the Nets have a better balance in players on the floor than the Rockets had, having big men in the pick and roll, allowing Harden to go downhill instead of focusing on exploiting the switch. Harden's game hasn't changed, as he is still very much the same player, but it's how often he's able to have the ball in his hands and make plays. At this current point in the season, he is averaging 26 points, 9 rebounds and 11 assists, while also shooting over 40% from 3, which he has never done in his career. It's clear that the Nets haven't adopted the Mike D'Antoni ISO ball style of play, as when Harden has the ball in his hands, he spends 31.3% of the time playing in isolation. Compared to his last 2 seasons at Houston, that's a severe decrease. Pay attention to this stat. Harden's spot-up game, meaning catch and shoot or attacking on kickouts, is ranked first in the league and has increased this year with Brooklyn from his last season with Houston. So you guys must be wondering, what does this all mean? So Harden, for the majority of the time he was at Houston, averaged between 26 points to his highest ever 36 points per game, and that was with the ball in his hands for the majority of the time and taking whatever shots he wanted. So Harden at the moment is still producing a good output within his career averages in scoring, but with less touches, meaning Harden can play more off ball and allow KD, Kyrie to dominate, as he is able to still produce. And even when Kyrie and KD decide to go ISO, having Harden on the perimeter as a secondary option, as well as Joe Harris too, makes the Nets very difficult to guard. And on top of that, Kyrie is also averaging 27 points per game as well as KD averaging almost 30.
Milwaukee up by 1. Here's Durant.
Let's take a look at how the Brooklyn Nets use James Harden in one of their actions. The first key here to consider is for any action to work effectively, you need to have key guys in the key spots. So if you take a look at the diagram, the two key spots in this action is the 2 and the 3 positions, and you're going to see why in a second. The second key here is the timing, especially of the off-ball action, as that needs to be happening as the 2 is using the pick and roll. And then finally, understanding how the defense is going to guard each action. Are they going to switch, chase, top block, as that will all dictate the reads that the offense makes. As you can see, James Harden is located in the weak side corner and is not bringing the ball up the floor. So in this action, the 1 needs to be someone who the defense will not want to switch onto Harden. So the 1 enters into the 5 and sets a pin down for Harden. And as you can see at this point, the defense is getting ready to chase behind. As you can see now, the Nets have an advantage with a 2v1 situation. So now here's an important detail for the 5-man. Once he sees that Harden has his advantage, he doesn't need to set a screen. He can get ahead of the play. Here's another important detail. Pay attention to the strong side. Harris is getting a hammer screen to distract the help side and offer another option for Harden if the lob isn't open and he can't find his own shot. As you're going to see, Harden makes the obvious decision and throws the lob as Porzingis stepped up early to take away the floater. So here is the Rockets running the same action but without much detail, and hopefully you can see the difference in execution. I have to say, please take all this information lightly at the moment as it's still much early season. So of course these stats and situations could change. Saying that, if the stats continue to support everything I've said, I do think the Nets could be a title contending team. They have the star power and supporting team, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. I also think having Harden play off-ball more often could be a very effective option. As you guys have seen, it makes everything for Harden a lot easier, and come playoff time, he's not as fatigued from playing ISO every series. I look forward to seeing what the rest of the season brings for the Nets. That's it from me today. If you want to see more, go check out my Twitter and TikTok pages. My tag is on the screen now. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and make sure you turn on that notification bell so YouTube informs you when I upload. Make sure to like the video and leave a comment, letting me know which Harden you prefer, the Houston Harden or the Brooklyn Nets Harden. Thank you all for watching. I've been Coach Pierce, and I'll see you all next time.
Take the double team and allow his team to play 4-on-3.